In my last video, I said that there were only two Easter-themed Goosebumps books out there, and that is Egg Monsters from Mars and Bad Hair Day. But I've actually come to disprove that statement that I said before, and I actually found two new Easter-themed Goosebumps books. And so that one of them is Chicken Chicken, which I'll be talking about hopefully in my next video or the video after that or so. And also, the book that we're going to be talking about today, My Friends Call Me Monster. And so, the reason I classify My Friends Call Me Monster as an Easter-themed Goosebumps book is because the main antagonists of the book, who are aliens, basically want to take over the world using eggs as a way to do so. I'm not going to get into too much details on that since I haven't issued a spoiler warning. But basically, in the story, they use eggs as a key component in trying to take over the world. And, you know, pretty much they're a huge part of this plot of the book. And even more so than, I believe, other egg-themed Goosebumps books, mainly Egg Monsters from Mars. And so that's sort of why I classified this one as an Easter-themed Goosebumps book. And so due to it being an Easter-themed Goosebumps book, I thought I could make an Easter-themed Goosebumps theory about this book, since, you know, I've already done a theory on Bad Hair Day and Egg Monsters from Mars. So, my theory, though, for this book is that the main antagonists of the book, who are supposedly aliens, aren't really aliens. So, now it is time for the spoiler warning. So, obviously, spoilers for My Friends Call Me Monster, and also spoilers for a short story from Tales to Give You Goosebumps, Strangers in the Woods. So if you haven't read those two scary stories, then I would highly recommend you to not watch this video, unless you don't really care and you just want to watch the video anyway, which is totally fine, I guess. But anyway, with that out of the way, guys, let's get into this theory. So basically, in My Friends Call Me Monster, we meet our main protagonist, whose name is, I think, Michael Monroe. And other people call him Monster. So basically, he is this sort of nerdy, not nerdy, but he likes to work with computers and stuff like that. So, because of that, he constantly pranks his teacher. I think her name is Mrs. Hardesty. And so, at one point in the book, she catches the main protagonist pranking her, and so she punishes him by making him go do public service along with his friends. And so he gets really mad about this, especially since he misses some important event. And so he wants to get revenge from her by putting a black cat in her house, because supposedly she is very superstitious. So he brings the black cat and is about to plant it in her house when he sees a giant green alien egg. And Mrs. Hardesty is sitting on it. And so that kind of, you know, starts the whole main plot of the book, is him trying to figure out what's going on. And so at one particular scene in the book, Mrs. Hardesty is sitting on the alien egg when it finally hatches, revealing a grotesque and evil alien monster. And so it turns out also that Mrs. Hardesty is an alien who's trying to take over the world by, you know, using these alien monsters and also feeding people these eggshells. Because if someone eats one of these alien eggshells, then they will turn into monsters like that one that just hatched out of the shell. And so, now the plot sort of changes to the main protagonist trying to stop Mrs. Hardesty from doing this and accomplishing her goal. But he ends up getting turned into a monster, but this really doesn't stop him. And it ends up with actually him killing Mrs. Hardesty and this other alien leader whose name is Mr. Wong, and he's pretty much the principal at the school. And he's shown some earlier scenes, but he's really not that important until the very end of the book. And also, at the end of the book, the alien monsters that I'm talking about, you know, that hatched out of the eggs and stuff like that, they go out and they eat an eggshell, which turns them all back into yolk in their previous form. But that's one important thing I need for you guys to note. That these little alien monsters, when they eat it, they return to their previous form. But then, just keep that note in mind. And so basically my theory today, though, is that Mr. Wong, who's the principal guy, and the main protagonist's teacher, who is an alien, Mrs. Hardesty, are aliens. And so the first bit of evidence is, I've sort of already hinted at, is that near the end of the book, those alien creatures ate the eggshell, which turned them into yolk. And so it sort of seems like that this makes creatures and stuff like that, when they eat the eggshell, turn into their previous form. But then we see Mrs. Hardesty actually eat the eggs, which makes her turn back and forth between a monster and a human, right? So that's kind of weird. How can she, if the egg only makes people turn back into their previous form or something like that, then how come when she eats the egg, she doesn't turn into an eggshell, right? Not an eggshell, but egg yolk, like the other monsters. Because I get it, if she is an alien, she eats the egg once, then she turns into an alien again, right? But then, if she eats the, if she eats the eggs again, she should turn into yolk like the other monsters, since she's already in her monster form. But she doesn't do that. She is still normal. She's still, I don't know good wording for this, but she just turns back into a human. She eats the eggs, which makes her turn back into a monster and turn back into a human. And also the main protagonist experiences this when he eats the eggshell and he turns into a monster, but then he eats it again and he turns into a human. So, what's he gonna stay with? And so, her transformation sequence, though, is very similar to what a human does. Because the alien monsters, when they eat it, they turn into yolk. But when she eats it, she behaves exactly like how a human would eat it. When they eat it, they turn into a monster. Which could possibly mean that she and Mr. Wong are humans because of the transformation process they go through when they eat the eggs. And so that would mean possibly that the main protagonist, when he killed Mr. Wong and Mrs. Hardesty, when he killed them, they were actually innocent humans who were taken over by aliens. Because I honestly believe they were taken over by aliens. That's why I have all these evil goals and want to take over the human race, is because they were aliens. Also, there's the fact that they want to kill their own kind, which is kind of weird because they're using the eggshells to turn other people back into humans. And they stated that for some of the eggs they're going to use to make the humans turn into aliens. So, wouldn't that be murdering their own kind? Just a little bit, just a thing I'm throwing out there that could possibly mean that these guys are actually human, but then they'd be under the control of the aliens anyway, so I don't know. That's not really a strong piece of evidence. But another piece of evidence is that they have had several opportunities earlier to turn the children into aliens. So why, at this certain point in time, would they just start wanting to turn the children into aliens? Because there's this one particular scene in the book where Mr. Wong is in the story and he gives the main protagonist and the main protagonist's friends candy bars, which is a whole lot less suspicious than Mrs. Hardesty inviting the main protagonist into her house so she can make him eat eggs. Because, it's just a whole lot less suspicious and all that stuff. So, I don't really see why not Mr. Wong would maybe infect the candy bars in some way or feed them completely separate things that would make them turn into aliens. Why now, at this certain point in time, does he have the goal to turn them into aliens when he's had several perfect opportunities to do so? And so, that's a huge piece of evidence, I believe, because these monsters pretty much want to take over the world with little opposition as possible. And so, I think that would be a very easy case for them to do so if they just go in ahead and turn the children into aliens beforehand. Like, maybe the teacher would come to class one day and be like, oh, I'm going to serve you guys some cake because of some special event or something. And then they would all be turned into aliens. Why now, at a certain point in time, would they try to feed the kids the eggs when they could have done it at any other point in time with absolute ease? And so, our next bit of evidence is we see aliens very similar to this in another Goosebumps short story. This one really isn't a short story, but in a Goosebumps short story entitled Strangers in the Woods. So basically, in Strangers in the Woods, it kind of holds a similar plot to My Friends Call Me Monster in a weird sort of way. So basically, in that story, the main protagonist goes to their aunt's, I believe, house, and basically she keeps seeing strange lights, and all this creepy stuff keeps going on, and she suspects her aunt to be taken over by aliens, because, her cooking is a little off, including eggs. She serves the main protagonist eggs, and actually I think 2 different egg-filled items. I think she gave her a cookie, which most likely has eggs in it, and also she fed the main protagonist actual eggs. Which sort of means that it's very, very similar to the aliens that we see in My Friends Call Me Monster, and, in the end of the book, it is revealed that her aunt actually is an alien. So, you can just tell from those 2 facts that these guys are very similar. And also, the main protagonist did say that the eggs tasted very different from usual. And that would make sense if it's an alien egg. And she's trying to turn the main protagonist into an alien. Because, again, it makes a whole lot of sense for them to be exactly the same, because they both feed weird tasting eggs to children, and they're both aliens. And so you just get those 2 similarities from the book, from both stories, that could possibly mean they're the same. And so if those 2 alien species are the same, then that means that my theory about Mrs. Hardesty and Mr. Wong being humans are pretty much correct, because in the book, her aunt is taken over by an alien. They never flat out say this. It is sort of implied in the story, and the main protagonist does guess this, even though the aunt never really says if she's under alien control or not. It would make more sense for this to be so, because it's her aunt. Her mom obviously spent some time with her sister, since I believe, I don't know if it's her mom's sister or her dad's sister. I don't think they say so in the story, but, I think one of them would know if their sister is an alien, or the main protagonist's grandparents, or someone would know that she's an alien, and the parents would not let them spend the summer with her if she was an alien, obviously, since they spent time with this person, and unless the whole family are aliens, which I don't really believe would be correct, since the main protagonist would obviously know that aliens exist and all that stuff, and her favorite science fiction movie probably wouldn't be about evil aliens trying to take over the world. So, it's pretty much 100% likely that the aunt was taken over by an alien, and the aliens are very, very similar from Strangers in the Woods and My Friends Call Me Monster, which could very easily mean that they are both humans who got controlled by aliens, and that also means that Mr. Wong and Mrs. Hardesty were innocent people who were killed by the main protagonist in the book. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This video was a little confusing, I would say, so I'm going to sum up all of my, points that I said in this theory. So, the first bit of evidence is that they have a completely different changing process than the actual guaranteed to be aliens in the book, and actually have a changing process when they eat the eggs, very, very similar to humans. Also, there's the fact that they had so many earlier opportunities to, take over the main protagonist's mind, and not take over the main protagonist's mind, but, transform them into aliens before, that it's kind of surprising that they didn't do so before. And also, one more thing I did forget to mention is that, what was it? I'm so sorry, guys. Is that the teacher is very superstitious. And I don't see why she would be superstitious if she's an alien. This could be just a disguise, cover up the fact that she is an alien, but still, why would an alien want to disguise themselves as a supernatural obsessed person? Wouldn't that lead people to maybe suspect her as an alien? Just a quick tidbit that I want to throw out there. And also, the final bit of evidence is due to the story's very close similarities to Strangers in the Woods, which featured a human who was, turned into an alien. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, comment down below what you guys think. And also, just one more thing I want to point out is that there's this new Goosebumps Discord channel out, created by this Goosebumps, YouTube channel named Grayson the Goosebumps Kid, I believe. And so he started this Discord channel, and that I just joined recently. And so I'd highly recommend you guys to join that Discord channel if you haven't already. But anyway, guys, that's the end of my video, and I hope you enjoyed.